The scorching twin suns of Korath Prime beat down on the cracked surface of the desert plain, sending waves of heat radiating into the pale sky. Dust swelled lazily in the air, stirred by the occasional passing wind, and in the midst of this barren wasteland, a colossal shadow lay prone o' ship, clearly not of any human make. Its sleek, silver hull was pockmarked and scorched, its engines silent, and its wings spread wide like a wounded bird. Miles away, a small, rugged hover truck bumped along the uneven terrain, kicking up clouds of red dust. Behind the wheel, Harlan Trent, a human in his late 40s, with greying hair and the kind of calloused hands that spoke of decades of labour, squinted at the horizon. Beside him, perched on the edge of the seat with one foot dangling out the door, was his daughter Lyra, 16, her auburn hair tied back in a practical braid, a streak of grease already smudging her cheek. "Dad," she called, her voice carrying a mixture of excitement and awe. "Look at that thing. That's huge, is that? Alien." Harlan's eyes widened, and he slowed the hover truck to a crawl. "By the engines." "Yeah, kid. That's definitely not from any human fleet I've seen. And judging by the damage, it looks like someone had a bad day." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "We could fix it, you know. We've got the tools. We've fixed your old mining rig that was practically a death trap. How hard can this be?" Harlan chuckled, shaking his head. "That rig had maybe 1/10 the complexity of that ship, Lyra, and it's a lot bigger, but..." He squinted at her, seeing the unmistakable spark in her eyes. That same stubborn spark that had helped them scrape a living from the harsh worlds on the fringes of human space. "I think we might just be crazy enough to try." They approached the wreck carefully. The ship's immense size made them look like ants in comparison. Its hull was marked with jagged tears and scorched metal, and as they walked closer, a low groaning vibration resonated from within the ship, as though the vessel itself was alive and in pain. Suddenly, a massive hatch hissed open, and a figure emerged. Harlan and Lyra froze. Standing before them was a towering alien, easily 3 meters tall, with chitinous armor plating and limbs like steel beams. Its head was angular, with eyes that glowed like molten gold, and it exuded an aura of power so intense it made their skin crawl with nervous energy. The alien's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "You, humans, you approach a dying vessel uninvited. Why?" Harlan swallowed hard, but stepped forward. "Sir, I mean, ma'am, we're just mechanics. We fix things. If you need repairs..." He trailed off, realizing how insignificant his words might sound to a being of such magnitude. Lyra, sensing the tension, stepped beside her father. "We can help. We fix ships. Big ships. Dad's been in the business for decades. I help him. We can make your ship fly again." The alien's eyes narrowed, studying them both. Then, with a tilt of its massive head, it spoke again. "You repairers, think yourselves capable." Lyra grinned. "We've handled worse. Trust me." After a long moment of silence, the alien gave a slow nod. "Then repairers begin." Harlan and Lyra immediately set to work. Over the next several hours, they crawled over the alien ship's hull, patched breaches, replaced shattered conduits, and rerouted power systems. Lyra moved with precise efficiency, almost as if she knew exactly how every component interacted. Harlan noticed the way she assessed each broken circuit, each malfunctioning engine thruster, with an uncanny sharpness, faster than anyone he had ever seen. "Kid," he muttered during a break, wiping sweat from his brow, "you're damn good, better than me even. Where'd you learn all this?" Lyra smirked. "I've been around you long enough to pick it up, old man, and I've had some practice." Harlan laughed nervously, brushing off the comment. He didn't press further. Something about Lyra's demeanor had changed in the past year. More confidence, more skill, more intensity. But he chalked it up to growing up fast in a harsh galaxy. By the third day, the ship's systems were starting to hum with renewed life. Lights flickered back on, engines warmed, and the alien's anxious presence shifted to cautious hope. And then it happened. A sudden alarm blared from the ship, a deep, resonant tone that vibrated through the desert. The alien's head snapped toward the source, eyes wide with alarm. "Intruders. Boarding craft detected." Harlan froze. "Boarding craft, but we're alone out here." Lyra didn't hesitate. She leapt to a control panel with the agility of someone far more experienced than her years suggested. In seconds, she had activated a defense array, targeting the approaching crafts. Plasma cannons roared to life, sending the first wave of intruders spiraling into the sand. Harlan's jaw dropped. "Kid, what how?" Lyra's eyes flicked to him, calm and composed. "We've got company, Dad. I can handle this." For the next tense hour, the desert became a battlefield. Lyra moved with lethal precision, coordinating the ship's defenses, dodging incoming fire, and taking down attackers faster than Harlan could comprehend. Every move she made was deliberate, controlled, and devastatingly effective. Finally, the last of the intruders retreated, leaving scorched craters in the sand. Harlan was shaking, half in awe, half in terror. The alien, who had been silent during the onslaught, now stepped forward, eyes blazing. "You are no mere human child," it said, voice a mixture of reverence and disbelief. "You are a warrior, a mercenary of unparalleled skill." Lyra's cheeks flushed slightly, but she didn't deny it. "I've done work. I've had to survive." The alien's gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. "Then I owe you my life. Not just my ship, but mine. I am Kelther of the Zanari Dominion. Few in my species have survived what you have just done for me." Harlan's mouth was dry. "Lyra, you never told me you were a mercenary." Lyra finally looked at him fully, her expression gentle but serious. "I didn't want to. Not until I could protect us both. I didn't want you worrying. I wanted to be useful, to be able to help." Harlan reached out, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You've always been useful, kid, more than anyone could ever imagine." Kelther rumbled something that sounded almost like laughter. "Humans, small, fragile, yet capable of such. Courage, cunning, skill, it is. Impressive. I underestimated you." Harlan couldn't help but grin. "Well, that seems to happen a lot. Humans surprise people. All the time." Lyra smiled, returning to her work. "The ship's nearly ready. Just a few more calibrations, and we'll be able to lift off." The alien ship shuddered as its engines roared back to life. Dust and sand whipped around them, creating a miniature storm as the colossal vessel lifted, its shadow swallowing the tiny hover truck beneath it. Harlan and Lyra stood in awe, feeling both insignificant and strangely empowered. Kelthor lowered his head to their level. If ever you require assistance, know that you have allies in the stars. Your skill, your bravery, and your heart are rare among your kind. Lyra bowed slightly. Thank you, it was an honor to help. Harlan laughed softly, shaking his head in disbelief. We fixed a giant alien ship. I don't even know how to process that. Kelther's massive frame rose, and with a final rumble, the ship accelerated, disappearing into the twin suns of Korath Prime. Harlan turned to Lyra, pride swelling in his chest. You're extraordinary, kid, he said quietly. Lyra shrugged, a small grin tugging at her lips. We're a good team, Dad. That's all that matters. As they climbed back into their hover truck, heading toward the distant horizon, Harlan realized something profound. Humans were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but with courage, ingenuity, and heart, they could achieve the impossible. And beside him, his daughter was living proof of that truth. Somewhere out in the endless stars, a giant ship hummed back to life, thanks to a human and a girl who refused to be underestimated. The galaxy had just witnessed a spark of humanity that even the mightiest of aliens would not soon forget. Asterisk.